This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You know the routine, you're greatly appreciated. I plan on doing De Niro. I still have a couple more movies from De Niro to watch. I was going to do Tom Hanks. There's one more Tom Hanks movie I wanted to watch. So I decided to do one of my favorite actors from the 80s, one of my favorite actors possibly of all times, Eddie Murphy. Very special to me because there are no real leading black men in the 80s. They had the actors from my parents' generation, Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby, Billy D. Williams. Murphy was the quintessential actor of the 80s, from action to comedy, romance, even sci-fi and horror. I can't forget about my man Wesley Snipes. He was also big in the 80s, more in the 90s though. But Eddie Murphy kind of kicked it off in the more diverse realm, comedy, action, and comedy romance. So let me give you a little bit of background on Eddie Murphy, then I'll get into my collection. Just a quick caveat, there are 4 movies from Eddie Murphy that I haven't seen yet. Dreamgirls, which I have, which came out in 2006. 1,000 Words, which I have, which came out in 2012, I believe. Mr. Church, which came out in 2016. Not in a big hurry to see that. Dolomite Is My Name, which came out in 2019, which is on Netflix. And You People, which was also on Netflix. And that came out in, let's see, when did You People come out? I think that was last year. Came out in 2023. But that's my little caveat. Before I get into my top 10 out of my collection, let me give a little bit of background on Eddie Murphy, some things that I didn't know myself. He was born Edward Reagan Murphy, born April 3rd, 1961, so he just had a birthday. He's an American actor and singer, comedian, singer, might be pushing a little bit. He shot to fame on the sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live, for which he was a regular cast member from 1980 to 1984. He's widely recognized as one of the greatest comedians of all time, arguable. Murphy has received accolades such as Golden Globe Award, a Grammy Award, and an Emmy Award, as well as nominations for an Academy Award and a BAFTA Award. He was honored with the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2015 and the Cecil B. DeMille Award in 2023. A little bit about his background. Murphy was born in Brooklyn, New York City, and raised in the borough's Bushwick neighborhood. His mother, Lillian Murphy, was a telephone operator, and his father, Charles Edward Murphy, was a transit police officer and an amateur actor and comedian. His father was murdered in 1969. Murphy later stated, "My mother and father broke up when I was 3, and he died. I was 8, so I have very dim memories. He was a victim of the Murphy charm," and he laughs. "Woman stabbed my father. I never got all the logistics. He was supposed to be one of those crimes of passion. If I can't have you, no one else will. That kind of deal." When Murphy's single mother became ill, 8-year-old Murphy and his elder brother, Charlie, who passed in 2017, lived in a foster care for 1 year. In interviews, Murphy has said his time in foster care was influential in developing his sense of humor. Later, he and his brother were raised in Roosevelt, New York, by his mother and stepfather, Vernon Lynch, a foreman at the ice cream plant. Now, that's a little bit of background about Eddie Murphy. Now, to get into my collection, without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm just going to jump into my top 10 for Eddie Murphy with Bowfinger. This is with Steve Martin. This was somewhat of a different role for Eddie Murphy because he's actually playing two characters, and he's done that in Norbit as well as the Nutty Professor and maybe something else, and Coming to America. So, funny movie, kind of not necessarily Eddie Murphy funny, kind of a combination of Steve Martin, and Eddie Murphy funny, kind of a little goofiness, but solid movie, Bowfinger. My next one, I think this just came to Blu-ray last year, The Golden Child. And this kind of reflected a change in Eddie Murphy from his beginning movies. He wasn't so vulgar. It's more of a family movie, which was a change, and I guess just part of his evolution and his movie making. So, and this, I believe, is one of his few fantasy movies. So, it's he and this Tibetan boy who is the golden child and search for the Ashanti dagger to save the world. Very cool movie. Liked it. What I also find interesting, I don't know if there's any correlation, there is a talk show host called The Dave Pakman Show. And there's actually somebody on YouTube called Dave Pakman. I'm just wondering if that's any coincidence. So, but number 9, The Golden Child. Number 8, and I've had this for quite a while. Let me back up on this a little bit. Here I have the Blu-ray, which I believe came out last year. They actually did a better job on the artwork on the DVD than they did the Blu-ray. Great movie. You have the lovely Angela Bassett, Kadeem Hardison. You have the late John Witherspoon. So very fun, comedic, I don't want to call it horror, more supernatural, vampire supernatural picture. Vampire in Brooklyn with the laser disc. Next one, Eddie Murphy classic, The Nutty Professor Collection. I actually had the first one. I was waiting for the second one to come out on Blu-ray, and this was actually cheaper than getting the second one, getting the collection together, so I just got both of them. And this is where you see, I believe, one of Dave Chappelle's first major roles. He plays a comedian that the Nutty Professor ends up heckling. Jason has this really crazy high top fade though. Second movie, not as great as the first one, but still funny. You have Janet Jackson in the second movie though. Very solid Eddie Murphy performance, The Nutty Professor. My next one is the second part of a dual movie, Another 48 Hours, with Nick Nolte, the follow-up to the pretty much his breakaway movie 48 Hours. And the reason why I'm doing it separate like this, because I have these. So 48 Hours, that's my next pick. Again, fantastic movie. The iconic scene of Eddie Murphy in the prison cell singing The Police Roxanne. That's movie gold right there. So that's what, 10, 9, 8, 48 Hours Series 7. Trading Places is next 6 with Dan Aykroyd. You also have the chick from Halloween and Jamie Lee Curtis. True Lies, that's what I was trying to think of. So 48 Hours, Trading Places, very funny movie. Again, Eddie Murphy classic. It didn't include Norbit. Norbit was just okay to me. It had its funny moments, but it didn't make my top 10. So 48 Hours, 1 and 2, then Trading Places. Next one, Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. And what makes it so great, I think I saw the trailer last year, 2023. I'm working out in the garage here. A terrible tone when it comes to music, though. But there's gonna be a Netflix Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out. Looking forward to seeing it. I'm just very curious if he can regain that magic that Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 had. 3, not so much. 3 was kind of weak, though, but the first 2, excellent. Funny thing about this, though, and it's actually, I think they have a Shout Factory version of this as an import, but on this they have the bonus and the extras. The original skit, the original storyline for Beverly Hills Cop, well, let me back up. The role they had for Eddie Murphy was actually the Sylvester Stallone movie, Cobra. So Eddie Murphy was supposed to be in Cobra. They tweaked it, make it more of a comedy, and they had Beverly Hills Cop. In the first one, you have Damon Wayans has a cameo scene with the bananas, though. So again, Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3. My next one, I don't have the second movie as of yet, though. Amazing movie. From Eddie Murphy playing the different roles, Sexual Chocolate, the Jewish guy in the barber shop, to his co-star, Hall. Names just slipped me for some reason today. You have James Earl Jones. You have John Amos in here. Madge Sinclair. Arsenio Hall, that's the name I was trying to think of. Just the two of them together played very well off of each other. The dance sequences in the palace and the Zamunda, just beautiful. Just and in 4K, it even just pops out even more from the first scene to the last scene. Beautifully shot movie, very funny, cast of stars. The second movie was okay. Was it good as the first one? No. But again, it was a good follow-up, especially since it was, 20, 30 years later. So, classic movie, Coming to America, Beverly Hills, Eddie Murphy, and Arsenio Hall. Having a hard time today. My number 2 movie, Harlem Nights. This is epic. It's epic because it brought 3 generations of outstanding, groundbreaking black comedians. You have Redd Foxx. What a lot of people don't know, Redd Foxx was actually cool with Malcolm X. They each called each other Red. I think one was Chicago Red, one was Detroit Red, or something like that, though. So Redd Foxx influenced Richard Pryor. And Richard Pryor, of course, influenced Eddie Murphy. And, of course, you have a host of stars, Arsenio Hall. You had Jasmine Guy, Danny Aiello, the girl Sunshine. I have got a girl who is so good. If you threw it up in the air, it turned into sunshine. That is probably one of the best lines in the movie. Harlem Nights. My last pick. For me, this was a movie for my generation. Prior to Murphy, to see blacks in normal roles, not being played as a slave, a maid, a pimp, a hustler, a prostitute. He was actually a businessman, a very debonair, very engaging individual. Boomerang. Had a professional atmosphere. He was an advertising salesman.
cast is just loaded. Halle Berry, Robin Givens, just about how you feel about her. Both lovely women. David Alan Grier, Martin Lawrence. You had the guy from 7 Up. You had Eartha Kitt in there. Just a fabulous. Chris Rock had a role in there. So from beginning to end, great cast, and one, in my opinion, one of the funniest black romantic comedies ever, Boomerang. Now, this is my Eddie Murphy top 10. If you disagree with the rotation, please leave a comment. I know, as I mentioned before, there's a couple movies I haven't seen. Dreamgirls, Mr. Church, and I think those were only 2. And 1,000 Words. I haven't seen those 3 though, but of my Eddie Murphy collection, these are my top 10. So, if you made it this far, good looking out. Smash the like. Give me the big thumbs up. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone be safe. Deuces.